Hey, good morning, Realtors. This is Nick checking in with your SCR update. This is episode number 346. It is October the 28th, and as always, I'm your host. I'm joined by a couple of guests with me today. Staff General Counsel Byron King and our Political Director, Lewis, which you'll hear from both here in a few minutes. Wanted to, we've got three spooky-tacular updates for you today, and wanted to bring you up to speed on a couple of very important issues. Number one, let's start with the issues, some of the confusion, unfortunately, that was caused by a recent email that was sent by the Real Estate Commission on Friday. Just to clarify, the Commission's original email contained an error. They rectified that. They provided an update later Friday evening, but the email didn't specify exactly what was the mistake. So I've asked Byron to join me here today to make sure that all of our members understand. I posted a couple of different videos on the topic, and there was still some confusion over the weekend. I know I addressed a number of these with a lot of phone calls and whatnot over the weekend. But Realtors, remember, under state licensing law, and Byron explained to our members, when they make first substantive contact with a consumer, what are the license law requirements?
Right, so the real estate commissioners have put out some great information about when substantive contact, the end of it is first substantive contact when you start talking about real estate, but they said prior to virtual showings, physical showings, you have to have the South Carolina Disclosure Real Estate Brokerage Relationship Form explained, signed, and give a copy. So kind of like Halloween, I say give them out like candy, carry copies around with you. Some realtors put the link in their email. Some of them can even text an image of it, or we provide zip forms where you can use zip form mobile to give it to them.
So that was the clarification in the guidance letter, right? They defined, they basically said, hey, before you show property, you've got to make your agency disclosure, the brokerage form. You've got to provide that to the consumer and give them a meaningful explanation of agency, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Realtors, please use the revised agency disclosure form. It is, if it's not in your zip form and .loop and other libraries, it will be very shortly. It should be in there now. But do we have an update on that? No?
I know zip form has it, and Austin has sent it to our vendors, the .loops and Broker Mint. So they're updating as soon as possible.
Yeah, if it's not in there today, it will be shortly. So make sure you are using the agency disclosure form before you show property. And in addition, the commission settlement also requires you to have a buyer agreement before you show property. And that is a separate document, right?
Yeah, so the question is, it one document? I say two documents. You always give out the 110s, or the real estate brokerage relationship form, and then our buyer agency agreement is for the settlement, the lawsuit settlement. That's 130, 135, or 136, agency or non-agency transaction brokerage.
So Realtors, there are two steps that you have to take. Number one, use your agency disclosure form as required by state law when you make that when you have that first substantive contact, which now is clearly defined by the commission as before you show property. And also make sure you're in compliance with the settlement and your MLS rules, and make sure that you have a buyer agreement, whether that's a buyer agency agreement, transaction brokerage agreement, or other agreement that's been approved by your company attorney and by your broker in charge. Speaking of brokers in charge, Realtors, please lean into your broker in charge during this transition. I received quite an alarming number of phone calls over the weekend from agents who had no direction from their broker in charge regarding just basic agency topics. Let's take the settlement off the table for a second. Let's just talk about basic real estate agency. I talked to several agents over the weekend. I was, to be honest, shocked at their lack of knowledge of just real estate basics. Brokers in charge, remember, you are held accountable to supervise your licensees. I think you also have a duty to make sure that they're properly trained and that they have the information they need to serve the public, serve the buyers and sellers in their market. Remember, you can be held accountable for their lapses, for their mistakes, for their errors. Under license law now, you will, if your agent is brought before the commission under disciplinary action, you will have to appear with that agent to make sure that you are fully briefed and aware of the issues at hand. So kind of a scary situation there that we ran across. Hopefully we've gotten some clarification now from the commission, and now you've gotten clarification from your legal team here at SCR. And stay tuned. The Real Estate Commission has another meeting in a couple of weeks. We'll be continuing this discussion with them, and we'll provide you an update as these meetings progress. So let's switch gears for a second. Speaking of scary things, Mike, I'm getting confused which camera I'm looking at here. Speaking of scary things, we have an election just over a week away, right? Next week. Mike, is that right? The election's next week, right? And to join us today, I've got our political director, Louis Dettorre, to talk about a couple of ways that realtors can make a difference in next week's election.
Thanks, Nick. I can't believe that it's already here. It's been a long year, a long election year, but this is the most exciting time of year for all of you. Any realtor that wants to vote, can vote, registered to vote, please do get out there and vote. This is a very important time to make your voice heard. If you aren't sure where your voting location is, your polling place, you can visit scvotes.gov. We have a realtor voting guide that's out, been distributed to all the members. Please do check that out as you go and make your voice heard. So it's very, very important. I can't stress that enough, that we as realtors get out and we make our voice heard and vote. One other quick topic, if I can, Nick, I wanted to touch on is the Realtor Party mobile alerts. Again, another very important tool in the Realtor Party toolbox for those that are not subscribed to receive those important alerts. They could be updates from NAR, could be updates from SCR, and making sure that you have the important information that you need to know on what's going on, what's happening related to flood insurance extensions, and so many other issues. Be on the cutting edge and receive those alerts. So if you are not subscribed or you're not sure if you're subscribed, would like you to please consider strongly texting realtors to 30644. And I wanted to make sure I didn't get that wrong, so I made a little cheat sheet here. But again, realtors to 30644 is the number, and you're texting realtors. So hopefully I didn't butcher that too much, but 30644.
Great.
Thank you.
No, thank you, Louis. I appreciate the update. Hey, Louis mentioned our voter guides. Your local association is likely to issue a voter guide too. I spoke to this briefly in a quick update I did last week as I was traveling to the office. But I wanted to remind all of our members, our voting guide is a way that RPAC and the trustees, realtors from all across the state, they look at these candidates through the lens of real estate, right? Through the Realtor Party. Not red or blue, not Republican or Democrat, but they look at these candidates and their positions, their stance, their advocacy on things that matter to our industry. Advancing homeownership, investing in private property, and protecting private property rights, and removing barriers to investment in real estate. Those are the criteria that we look at these candidates through. That's the lens. Now, one of my favorite days of the year is the day after we issue our voter guide, because we issued ours last week, and the phone calls started coming in. I can't believe that you endorsed this Republican. I can't believe you endorsed that Democrat. Guys, realtors, have, number one, you need to know that all of your personal politics, all of your personal positions on different issues that are important to you, we respect that 100%. We are not telling you how to vote with these voter guides. What we are doing is providing you information on where these candidates stand on realtor issues. And then you make your informed decision on who to vote for at the polling booth, in the voting box. The voter guide is simply that, a guide to tell you where these politicians, where these elected officials or candidates for office stand on those issues that are important to us. So again, not about red or blue. We are the purple party, the realtor party. And remember that before you call me and yell at me about why our PAC supported this candidate or that candidate. It's always fun, and listen, I actually enjoy the conversations. It's an opportunity to explain the process of how these candidates are vetted, and most of the time, realtors walk away with a better understanding of the process. And even though philosophically they may disagree with the choice, they understand how that choice was made. So realtors, get out and vote. Every vote matters. There are about a dozen or so contested races across the state. If you live in a couple of those Senate districts and House districts that are going to be very tight, your vote will make a difference. And there are a lot of down-ballot local elections to be considered as well. So get out and vote. I guess if we were in Chicago, I would say vote often. But in South Carolina, you can only vote one time. And take a friend with you. Take your office with you. Make it an event and get folks out to the polls next Tuesday if you haven't voted early already. So the third topic, I guess we've actually covered, Mike, about 7 or 8 topics so far, but the third big topic here today is the Realtor Relief Foundation. Right here I've got the first stack of checks that are going out to folks who have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. This represents almost $50,000 in direct relief that we're providing through the Realtor Foundation. Thank you to all the local associations, state associations that have contributed and donated to the foundation. It's made a huge difference. We've got 10 times this amount of money, though, to give out. We've got $500,000 plus that have been earmarked for Hurricane Helene relief. And we have about another 150 applications in process, and that leaves a lot of money on the table to give out. So please, Mike, if you can put in the links, the screaltors.org/Helene website, where folks can access the application online and submit it. We've got money to help up to $1,000 per for every qualified applicant. So, all right. So, keeping with our Halloween theme here, I've got a couple of Halloween dad jokes here. I know that if Rob and Keon are listening, I know they will appreciate these very much. So let me start with Byron. Byron, do you know where zombies like to live?
No.
They like to find homes on dead-end streets. That's their favorite place to live. All right, Lewis, I've got one for you. What is the one room in a house that ghosts don't need?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. What's that?
No cheating.
Well, I didn't come up with that originally, so I'm going to say I don't know.
Thanks for playing along, Lewis. Of course, that's the living room. Ghosts don't like the living room. All right, I think I better stop while I guess I'm not ahead. I should before it gets any worse. Realtors, there'll be a lot of trick-or-treating a little bit later this week. Please be safe. Watch out for all of the little ones that'll be out trick-or-treating. Stay realtor strong, and we'll be back in touch again very soon. Take care, everyone. Have a great week.